You know, I wish there was a little more science in my science fiction. Greetings, Dave here, DCPFX. I've been watching Star Trek again, because, well, that's what I do. Seems like once or twice a year I'll just run the whole gamut. I was watching Generations again, and then also I was thinking back to Insurrection. And, okay, I accept that this is Star Trek, this is fantasy, this is science fiction. You know, I accept that warp core doesn't exist yet. And transporters and replicators don't exist yet. I just wish that there was a little more science in my science fiction. So if you look at that clip I just showed in the opening, okay, the imagery is interesting, it's Generations, and you see this object as it gets closer, you say, oh, it's Dom Perignon bottle, and then it hits the outside of the ship, and then it explodes into a whole bunch of champagne. Okay, space is cold. I guess the best way to put it. Space is very cold. Space, the temperature is measured in kelvins. You know, around 0 kelvins, like minus 273. Below, you know, below 0 is 0 Kelvin. So it's really cold. Now that being said, there's really the reason that things emit heat is because they're vibrating and they're so cold that they can vibrate. So yes, that bottle could exist for like 12 hours out like that, and it wouldn't freeze solid. It'd be close to it though. But the thing is, in space, no one can hear you scream. All right, alien. In space, there's no atmosphere. So what should have happened there is the bottle hits the side and it immediately boils because there's no pressure, right? And then whatever's left over in that should immediately crystallize. It shouldn't be champagne sploosh everywhere. Now, you could also be saying, well, Dave, it's not actually champagne. Then why is it in a Dom Perignon bottle? So I see that, and it just takes me out of it. It's just like, it's science, guys. Like, come on, it's science. Can you please just, you know, it's, why would you in the 23rd century, because that's when Generations was set, throw a bottle against a ship anyway? Like, granted, I do, when you look at some of the funny things out there, I remember Caddyshack when they went to do that and they put a hole in the boat. Anyway, so that's one example of, yeah, bring some science to it. Another one that I have a bit of problem with, science-wise, is Insurrection. Okay, aging is where the cells of your body start to break down just because they're worn out. Like, you know, as we get older, and I'm noticing here too, you know, there's less elasticity in our skin, so it starts to droop a little more, and you know, and the melanin runs out, or melanin, whatever in your hair runs out. That's how you get this nice gray that I'm sporting here and everywhere. It's everywhere. It's crazy. That's what aging is. The cells wear out. In Insurrection, the metaphasic, what it was, I think, radiation causes all that to go backwards. In other words, the cells are rejuvenating. That's why people are younger. So in the movie, you know, Worf gets a big gorge, a huge zit. You know, and Riker and Troy are more playful and other things, and Picard, rather than his opera, give me something, give me some salsa. Yes, let's do this. Okay, that's fine. You know, things are going backwards. Hey, your boobs, you know, wow. The problem I have with that is Geordi's eyes grew back, and I have two problems with it. Geordi was born blind. His DNA says, no eyes for you. So the radiation would basically just take him to a younger version of that. If he was going to grow eyes back, then they would almost have to say that there is a supreme mover behind the metaphasic because all it's doing is basically improving the cell structure. So he wouldn't have gotten eyes back. But in the movie he did, which is great. And you know what? Here's the scene here.
As it turns out, there wasn't anything wrong with my implants at all. There was something right with my eyes. When Dr. Crusher removed the ocular connection, she found that the cells around my optic nerve had
started to regenerate.
And LeVar acted the crap out of that. That's, to me, one of the high points of the movie, because Insurrection wasn't a great movie. That's a high point of the movie because LeVar is just so good in that. As I get older, and we always look at this. No, I have a Command one because that's what I could get. There are other ones out there that, you know, I'm going to get an engineering one eventually, but this was a really good deal to get this and the shirt for a really good price. So I have a Command shirt, and I really would much rather be in engineering because I'm more, as I've said before, I'm more engineering than Command. I'm more the guy in the back who's fixing it. Give me a laser spanner. I'm going to get this fixed. Anyway, Geordi's eyes grew back, and he could see through them. And he says, I don't know how long this is going to last. Healing doesn't go away when the metaphasic radiation goes away. You get better. It doesn't, it goes away until you get worse. Like they did that in the X-Men too. In the X-Men, the first movie, Wolverine, when he gives his powers to Rogue, at the end, so that she can, so she can heal from everything that had gone on because of Magneto, all his wounds open up. No, that's not how healing factors work. That's not how that works at all. It heals and it stays. So if Geordi's eyes had grown back, which again shouldn't because of his DNA and his genetics saying that he doesn't have eyes, that's why he wears a visor, why would they go away? Doesn't make any sense. And to be fair, Geordi was one of the furthest away from the whole thing the whole time. Like you can see that, Riker and Picard and everything on the planet with the Baku. But Geordi's really up there, and he still had the advantage of all that. So why was Starfleet trying to steal the radiation with just park in orbit? Now, I understand why the scene was written, because, the writer wrote it. It was written that way so that Picard can stick to his guns and say, I'm going to save these people. I don't care that my chief engineer, one of my good friends, is going to lose his sight again. It's for the greater good. That's the whole sacrifice that he's doing. He's willing to do that for the Baku and stop the Admiral. And to be fair, the evil Admiral trope, have we used that enough? Come on. And did it again in Into Darkness. Anyway, it should have, either he got his eyes and he kept them. He shouldn't have them heal and grow back and then leave the planet and they rot and fall away. That's not how DNA works. That's not how anything works. Anyway. That's all I'm saying. I just wish that there was a little more science in my science fiction. I still love this stuff. I still Insurrection is next. I watched First Contact yesterday. So it's next, it's gonna happen, but it's just these little things like, why couldn't that not? And there's other little things like, no, that's not how it works. And Doc Brown's a scientist. He would call them gigawatts, not gigawatts. Anyway. So that's my take on things for today. I love Star Trek. I love all that stuff that's going on. I love the whole universe of Star Trek. I'm going to have to get into Picard. Season 2, we get a couple episodes out. I'll get to them. I wasn't a fan of first, but Q. I love Q. There's only, a dozen Q episodes, and I love every single one of them. So Q in this is going to be amazing. I hope. We'll see what happens. But yeah, it is what it is. So anyway, that's my talk for today. Hope everyone is having a great day, and we'll talk to you all later.